It is 7:03 p.m. on Monday, March 24th, 2025. We are here at the Thompson Library Community Center, Room 2, and on Zoom. And if I will ask you to stand as you are able to the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. One nation. As always, under citizens' comments, we ask comments to state their name and address record, limit their time to 3 minutes speaking time unless otherwise directed by the chair, and we invite citizens to address their comments to the chair in a civil and respectful. Item 2, roll call. Mr.
John B. Lincoln, present.
Wayne Knorr.
Ray Williams.
Kaiser Levac for James Sullivan. Public hearing, there is none. Item 4, discuss public hearing and possible action. There was none. Item 5, citizens' comments. Ms. Clark.
Yep, Valerie Clark, 105 Elm Road. If somebody could please point me to the minutes that reflect that this was scheduled, this meeting tonight was originally scheduled in the library, I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
So certainly we do have the minutes from last month, but I believe it was, I'm being told it was approved in our calendar in 2024 when we voted on it. I don't have that information off the top.
Valerie, if you send me an email as a prompt, I should be able to send you a copy of the master calendar tomorrow.
It's the minutes that I'm interested in, thank you. Because I do believe this was a special meeting. I don't think that this is regularly scheduled here. So thank you.
Yeah, so let's certainly in the minutes and discuss on the agenda at last month's meeting.
That I'm sorry, it's Joe. I don't mean to argue, but we just went through this on the Ag Commission, and it has to be set at before the beginning of the year. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Clark. Any other comment at this time? Citizens' comments? I see none. Item 6, approve the minutes of the March 24th, 2025. I'm sorry, that's today. Sorry, the minutes of the February 24th, 2025 regular meeting of the Planning and Zoning.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Hill, seconded by Mr. Knoyer to approve the minutes of the February 24th meeting. Is there any discussion? Mr. Williams?
Yes, when we're talking about Munsters brought up about up there that have been on that piece of property for years, and there's nothing in the minutes that I brought that up that I asked about that.
Mr. Williams? Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Where are you referring to?
I'm sending it back on this world. Asphalt that's been up there for 50
Oh,
years.
okay. All right, it's not good. That's the.
Yeah, but
That's amending the minutes.
Cover.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Amendment. Thank you.
Any other discussion? I just have a couple. So after before item 3, so after the special item for item 3, the chair moved the amendment of the agenda to strike none. under item 4 and to add application 25-02 and to add application 24-43 to item 11, signing of Mylar. Mr. Lanky seconded the motion and the vote was unanimous. Under the treasurer's report, the chair moved to approve the reimbursement for the plaques. Mr. Hill seconded. That motion was approved unanimously. The chair moved the approval of 4 members of the ZBA for the Connecticut Bar Association Connecticut Land Use Seminar. That was seconded by Mr. Linky and approved unanimously. And the chair moved the approval of funds for commissioners to attend the CFPBA event, seconded by Commissioner Salsi and approved unanimously. Any other discussion? Mr. Hill, will you amend your motion to approve as amended? And Mr. Knoyer, will you second as amended?
I'll second.
The motion is to approve the minutes of the February meeting as amended. Is over. Yes or no?
Yes. I was, you caught me off
I
guard.
know, we were ready for you to start over there.
There's a star in the interview there.
That was the blonde over there.
Yeah.
It was, yes. Fine, yes.
John B. Lindsay, yes.
Joseph Brody Brown. Item 7, applications received, application 25-06. The applicant has requested that this be put on
Postponed to
next
next
month's
month.
agenda. Heard.
I'll make the motion that application PZC 25-06 be moved to the April meeting of 28.
Motion made by Mr. Lanky, seconded by Mr. Hill to put application 25-06 on the April agenda. Any discussion? Mr. Williams?
And we ask everybody to save their paperwork so that these guys don't have to redo all that paperwork next month.
Absolutely. Commissioners, save your application paperwork for 25-06. Thank you, Mr. Williams.
I make a comment, you will probably be getting a new site.
We got a new site plan, but everything else.
There's no reason to keep them.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Ray. Any further discussion? All those in favor of moving to the April meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Be on the April agenda. Application 25-08, applicant Jonathan Honig, property owner Raceway Golf Club and Restaurant LLC, property owner of 205 East Thompson Road, map 137, block 20, lot 2, 39.61 acres, zone BDD, request to replace existing 5,000 square foot 3-season portion of restaurant with a 4-season 5,000 square foot building in the same location according to zoning regulations Article 10, 275, 10, 2, 13, Article 4, 275, 4, and E. Yeah, Ms. Dunn.
So I showed you, the applicant complied with everything in Article 275, 4.4 A and B. And I'm looking for my, notes here. They did not delineate the septic and well and site plan, and one of the Owing brothers brought that into the office today. You have that copy there, and you can see where the septic and the well is located. And they're not aware of any historic significant area in the, for the property. And again, as a commission member had asked me, why are they coming here? Because they already had a restaurant. It's because of the section in the regulations that says Number 13, it says restaurant, outdoor facilities, new, existing, and both of them are X for the site plan review, zoning permit with site plan review by the commission. Does anybody have any questions? Does anybody in the audience want to speak on the application?
Certainly, and just come because that microphone's not the best.
Yeah.
You know?
So Mike's here, so just anywhere around there and just use that outdoor
Yeah,
voice.
just in front of you.
Yeah.
All right, so we're proposing to replace an existing three-season space that we use for outings and stuff with a four-season space. Footprint is relatively the same, it's just being changed from a heated and cooled tent structure to a. Any other questions?
Were you all able to hear that?
Yes.
Same footprint, pretty much.
And with the new site plan, Cindy,
Yeah, we're good, yeah.
Mr. Linky.
That's the, proposed pavilion coming out into the parking area
No,
Towards
it's
the
the
speedway.
on the backside.
Yeah, backside towards the racetrack.
It's been a long time since I've been down there.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions?
I don't see any problem with this if he's got all the documentation and DEH and all that other stuff with that. Miss Cynthia said, I make the motion that we accept.
Second.
Easy. Finish. 2508.
Motion to approve the application?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Neuer seconds. Motion made to approve application 25-08 by Mr. Lanky, seconded by Mr. Neuer. Any discussion? Hearing none, a yes vote will approve application 25-08, a no vote will deny. Mr. Lanky.
John D. Lincoln, yes.
Ryan Canori, yes.
Ray Williams, yes.
Just for
You'll be getting a letter from me and a permit from me.
application 25-09, applicant Dave Coleman, property owner of 0 Hagstrom Road, map 19, block 85, lot 6A, zone RRAD, gravel operation renewal, inactive under zoning regulations 2012, article 9, section
I guess he's not here, and can't remember if I told him that it was here, I just tried calling him. But again, it's very simple, it's late, and I take responsibility for it being late. For renewal, he's looking, for a waiver, because it's still inactive. And he communicated with the wetlands office, and they have no issue with it, with the property, and it's, again, we've done it the last 5-6 years, just said, yes, keep it open, the bond is still there. And, the condition is if he activates it, then he comes back to Planning and Zoning Commission.
Mr. Hill.
But I can't hear you. That's the way it's always been the whole time. Yes. Saying that, I reflect that.
Goes in right through by where the old, where the parents' house.
Like I said, it's been that way for 7 years. So, change. But, no, exactly, that's what I did since I've been here, so,
This application feature is, this predates.
oh, yes, it does, yes, definitely predates. Take no responsibility. So why would it be an issue if it hasn't been an issue for 7 years? Because there's no mailing address. When that land is developed, then they get a street address. Oh, was that, I don't know, was that a right question? I don't know, I mean. If you would like not to approve this, it has, have to ask him.
Recently,
Okay, that's fine, that's fine.
Have you been at this?
Not this year, no.
Mr. Williams.
I do know that, in that property is his cornfields, is it the chopped corn going in and out of there?
Well, I would hate to do that without that. Addresses. So, I believe it's Woodstock.
Mr. Chairman, can we confirm whether this parcel that I just pulled up on the parcel map is the one that you're talking about, or is it not?
Yeah, his mailing address is 433 Payne District Road. Yes. Okay.
doesn't matter, see, right here.
Right here.
I didn't know. I haven't seen any of them guys.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so his, so you had about the approval of the.
I know, well, now that they mentioned in terms of going in off of, Fabian Woodstock Road, I guess I do. You know, I'd like to get to the bottom of that, yeah.
Mr. Hill, would you like to table this to April's meeting? Then I will move tabling application 25-09 to the April 28th meeting. Seconded by the vice chair. Any discussion on the motion to table?
Just for the sake of the record in the minutes later, I did just look up both Zero Hagstrom and the last name Coleman. 2 parcels came up with the address Zero Hagstrom. Neither of them appeared to be the one that you're looking at. And I didn't see anything else come up anywhere else under the last name Coleman. So it does seem appropriate that you'd want to verify the correct address.
Any discussion on the motion to table? What's that? Keep the paperwork.
Yes.
Keep the paperwork. Yes vote will table, a no vote will bring us to some other course of action. Ms. Orthelback. Mr. Hill. Noyer.
Yes.
John B. Linky, yes.
Joseph Brody Brown. Item 8, applications received after the agenda was posted.
None.
We have none. Item 9, reports of officers and staff, budget, Mr. Noyer.
Okay, the budget for, as of February 27th, 2025, has an available balance, $21,142.91. We have used a total of 56.2% of the available budget. Our total budget available, as a reminder, is $48,260. You have the approval from prior meeting of the $120 that Mr. Lanky had generously paid for the plaques for the three, to honor the three gentlemen. Be coming through as well, and we also attended the CLCC conference off-site. I believe that there were 5 of us in attendance. That will also be reflected. All the other charges were very standard items. There's a few slight breakout items here if anyone's interested. The Connecticut Federation, Connecticut Bar Association fees, and the typical shopper's guide, the publishing of the agendas and the legal notices. Other than that, that is all that we have to report this month for the.
All right, any questions? Ms. Penn.
Just very briefly, as you all know, you guys voted on your amendments last month's meeting. So the effective date of those was the 20th of March, which was last Thursday. So while we are waiting for the contractor who maintains the actual code book, you know, the actual document code book to complete their work to add those into the regulations. I have published those online. You should have all received copies as well for your reference with all the changes that you agreed to. So the most relevant thing now going forward is when you'll start going back into subcommittee for the next round, which now, because of the cannabis moratorium, you now have a real date. You want to have whatever you want, even if it's just the new regulations related to cannabis microcultivators. However you want to do that, you want it so that it will release by the 20th of March next year. So my suggestion would be that we wait until the fiscal year rolls, and then starting in July, go back to subcommittee meetings. So if anybody, wants to send topics that they want to consider, that's fine. And I'll keep a rolling tally of those. And then ahead of that, I'll create a new draft document for you guys going into July. And it may be that all you want to do is the cannabis moratorium, which would be fine. But just keep that in mind. Send me your stuff. I'll keep that rolling sort of discussion draft for you, and then I'll get it out to you before we start with that again. And as was mentioned under the budget report, 5 of us went to the CLCC conference again this past weekend. As always, an excellent event. So that was JBL and Ryan and Ray and Dave Poplawski and myself. Russ had wanted to go, but I guess couldn't make it. Great topics, and I would certainly encourage the commissioners who were in attendance to discuss it under commissioners' comments coming up later.
I don't have anything written down, but a couple of months ago, I got a request from a company down in North Carolina to put a clothing box on Sunny property. And they wanted to know if they needed a permit. And so I said, well, is it for profit? Are you a for-profit business? And they said, yes, they were a for-profit business. I said, well, then you need a permit for it, and they're collecting clothes. So there was no argument, they got their zoning permit for it. So I got another call, and it's written in my tablet, another company, but that company's working for a nonprofit, and they want to put containers on one of the locations on Riverside Drive. And I'm going, well, if it's for nonprofit, the other one I told was for profit. So I guess I'm asking you guys, ladies, what am I supposed to do? Are they supposed to get a permit, whether it's profit, nonprofit? You see these containers all over town. Yeah, I know. That's a very good point.
Mr.
That's
Williams?
a question. The company from North Carolina or whatever, does that mean them clothes are being shipped down there to sell down there and that they're being, you already have boxes around town that are for the people, that are used in our communities? You know what I mean? Why should we be taking stuff away from stuff that's used in our communities, be shipped to another state?
Good question.
Go ahead.
There's another one, Liverpool.
Lower town.
Do we have one?
One.
Right.
That's called an accident. Don't go looking for it, but they called me, so.
And just, if you could, commissioners on that side, if you could just speak up, you are speaking.
Yeah, it's just a problem when we have just the little hockey puck as both the microphone and the speaker.
So those are some good points. What do we want to instruct Ms. Dunn to do?
What do other towns do?
Good points.
They, once it stop and shop, look like that. That would be my only concern. We have another.
My feeling on it is that if it's something like either boxes up at Teague or associated with another primary use building, that it's probably just an accessory structure and you should treat it accordingly. The real question that I think is harder to answer is, what if there's nothing else on the parcel? Do they own the parcel? Do they have permission to use the parcel? I think those are relevant questions.
Like, I guess the interior. What if they start dumping, people start dumping, who do they who do you contact?
Well, the original, the,
Right, but
But if
in my
there's-
notes, actually, my notes. Okay.
but if there
Great,
could-
great points. I do know, I believe that, yes, I'm pretty sure the dumpsters, they were at, the LL restaurant, restaurant down there, at LV, and they wanted they wanted to move them closer to the road, and they said no, because the people couldn't get in and out, so they brought them up to the old Cumberland Farms, place of Farms. I did go in there and ask if they gave permission. They said yes. That I did do. So interesting. Okay. A lot of good points. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I think, it sounds to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, fellow commissioners, but, trust your judgment on this and authorize you to issue a permit if you think that is appropriate.
And I will call Putnam because I know everybody in Putnam.
Mr. Langley.
If they put these little containers in, like for clothes and soda bottles and everything like the Ark and all of them do. Does it matter if we just when you issue a permit, they're not paying for that permit, are they? They have to pay for it.
Yeah. 100.
Right. If it's nonprofit, okay, I get it, but if it's, they're gonna like, but they're gonna make a profit off of it, yeah, they should pay for it.
Well, that would be my question. The first one, the one I gave permit, you
Yeah.
said, yeah, we're a for-profit organization. The other one, which is in my notes someplace, is, a company, but they're doing this for a nonprofit company. So,
Yeah, I don't think our regulations
you know,
recognize,
No.
so I think, I would say if you've already told someone the answer to the permit, or
okay,
whatever the ordinance.
okay, thank you.
Mr. Blackmer.
Yeah, that would be, if they get a zoning permit. that would be Very helpful, everybody, thank you.
Item 10, correspondence for the town of Webster, planning board notice of public hearing, if you were there, because it's. But it did look like an interesting one. Item 11, signing of Mylars, there are none. Item 12, old business, he is gonna take us through a review of violations at 1097 Thompson Road.
Okay, so did everybody read my write-up? Okay. Yeah, everybody got me, I mean, that was, okay, thank you. So, without, do you want me to read the whole 2 pages? Okay, so does anybody have any questions on anything that I wrote up? I felt it was important to update everybody on, what was going on there, because there are so many calls into the office. And what I will say, and when I explain A to Z, what has been going on, people are very, very understanding, but they're still concerned about their property values. So this one email, when this gentleman emailed me, I said, you know what, I'm just gonna write it up for him. And anybody calls afterwards, I'm gonna send it to them. So this is pretty much what I wrote up, and explained to that gentleman. The only thing I'm waiting to hear is if the end of March, when the current property owner was looking at another prospective buyer, it was supposed to be closed at the end of March. I have not heard anything, nothing's gone into the town clerk's office. I have a notice in the town clerk's office, please contact me if they do get a deed of purchase, for that property. I do know he's been evicted, but knowing this person, he just doesn't care. And, if they did not find another person to buy the property before the foreclosure, that foreclosure sale will be at the end of April. And I did not get an opportunity to call any attorneys today, or had intended to, and to see exactly what happened at the end of March. So I will call the attorney this week. And sorry,
The end of March hasn't come yet.
not quite. Yeah. Yeah. Not, oh, so then I'm sorry, it was the end of April. End of April, the first weekend. Yeah. What did I say? No, I it was sooner than that. Yeah, I'm thinking it's April now. Okay, so, yeah, I'll find out about it. The important thing that I asked one of the attorneys I talked to, whoever is interested in that land, are they aware of the violation? And the attorney said to me, yes, that's why the first person who was interested a while ago, a couple months ago, pulled out. They didn't want to deal with it. So. I guess you there. So we'll, yeah, so, no, it was the end of February, I guess, but, whatever date I had put on here, if I did. Any more questions?
Thank you, Ms. Dunn.
Well, one more thing I want to say, and I emphasize to everybody who calls on this gentleman, there is nothing that the select woman or I could have said to this man, he still would have done what he wanted to do.
Item 12B, review of zoning permit for 865 Riverside Drive.
Okay, so does everybody have a copy of that? That's, I need a lot of room.
So you're asking for us to review this before you send it?
Oh, definitely, because the state statute, which you had asked for to be checked into, says that you can only put one 10 cubic yard container, or you can only put 10 cubic yards of refuse or, waste, solid waste, on a property. So that means last month you gave him permission to do 20 containers, which would be fine if they're empty. Only one, depending on the size, depending on the amount. Maybe you would take one or two to do 10 cubic yards. But that's all that you can put on the property. So he has to agree to that.
We have the 20 empty, and we'll have one full 10 yard.
Yeah.
Mr. Hill.
Cindy, this afternoon, I had a statute.
I left it free today.
Asked is what type of license, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna, I'm not sure if people are still able to hear. I'm just gonna repeat Mr. Hill's question to Ms. Dunn. Was the statute references a number of licenses that are required for waste removal.
Okay.
And Mr. Hill is asking the CEO to follow up with Mr. Rocha on that.
What was that statute, so I can look it up?
And 16D,
Right.
section 22A, 207, parentheses, 11.
Okay, all right, that's fine, okay.
Public waste facility.
That's good point. Very good point.
Mr. Williams, did you have a question or a comment?
Mr. Hill just answered it. I was wondering what that statute.
Okay, any other comments for Ms. Dunn? Ms. Penn?
And more for the sake of the commission, just to know that after the last meeting, Cindy and the applicant and I did sit down to discuss specific conditions. And subsequently, we were also talking with the wetlands agent, and the issue of the, when does it become by statute definition a transfer station came up. So I think the purpose of defining the limit of what he can have for material as 10 cubic yards is that because past that, it does trigger those requirements. So, regardless of whatever level of comfort the commission may have expressed in the prior meeting, what we want to be sure is that he's sticking to what he described to Cindy, which is that it is passive storage of his empty cans and vehicles. And sometimes he might need to have X amount of cubic yards of material if he can't make a drop. Now we have the better information of what it is that he can do without those other licenses being in place to use that facility. I think that was the purpose of defining the amount.
Yes. Okay. More questions? Or suggestions?
Thank you. Item 13, new business. 13A, approval of sale of town property.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Lane.
I would like to take that approval of sale of town property, I would like to take that to a subcommittee and discuss it, because what is gonna take a little lengthy, and I don't think we have the time tonight to discuss it, but I got a map in what town assessor, and I think this is something that we need to look at, because there are some properties that maybe could be sold, but majority of them, I think, I personally would like to keep it in conservation. But I think it's a discussion for us commissioners to decide. And I think a subcommittee meeting one night on a Wednesday in the next couple, 3 weeks to decide on it.
Second your motion.
Mr. Chairman, the first selectman is also in the Zoom room to comment on this.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I guess my only comment is in my discussion with, and she will, talk about it too, is like, is this person that is looking at this property only wants those two. Well, only the two lots, lots 5 and 6 or 6 and 7.
7 and 9, 7, 8, and 9 is not interested.
No, it's not interested.
Ms. St. Ange.
Yes, Mr. Chair, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, so Mr. Jezierski had come before the Board of Selectmen and requested to purchase lots 5 and 6. As I think you have on a map in front of you. We also went to both the Conservation Commission and the Inland Wetlands Commission to get their opinion. And both Conservation and Wetlands did not have an issue. According to the town ordinance on the disposition of town property, it would have to go out to bid. So it wouldn't just be a sale to Mr. Jezierski. It would have to go out to public bid, just so that commission understands that.
Thank you, Ms. St. Ange.
Yes.
So Mr. Linky, why, oh, sorry, go ahead, Mr.
I've been following this for a while, and I followed, wetlands all the way back when we had our last wetlands agent. She recommended, because of, endangered species along that swamp over there, that none of that property over there should be sold.
No, it's non-buildable.
Even though it's non-buildable, but if you look on the wetlands minutes and the conservation minutes from the last 2 meetings, it says, no plans for construction at this time, it said. And you know, what happens 5 years down the road when we're not here to see this going on, and then the guy he comes back in and says, hey, you know, because with them other 2 lots with what he owns, that's another building. Right, that's different if it's put in the deed. I'm just bringing up what's happened at the last minutes that I've been watching the minutes on the meetings.
Mr. Chair, if I could jump in again.
Yeah.
So the addition of lot 5 and 6 does indeed make this a building lot. Mr. Jezierski had said he only wanted it to increase his privacy. So I don't know if that is the case or if it's not the case. I would be more inclined, I was actually kind of surprised that Conservation and Wetlands were fine with the sale. I tend to be more of the mindset that this land, all of the town land that surrounds this lake should just be held as conservation land. But that's my own personal opinion that I thought I should share with the commission.
Ms. Dunn?
If you look at the wetlands map that I put in the folder, your packet, 5 and 6 is not near the wetlands. I mean, there is a lot of wetlands there, and that's probably why the conservation and, wetlands said it's okay, so.
Mr. Williams?
I agree with Mr. Lanky that we ought to have subcommittee meeting.
One other comment too to add on to both
Go ahead,
Mr.
Mr.
Lanky
Klein.
and Mr. Williams is, do we have a recent tally of any of the properties that, in addition to this, that were up for sale? But not just here, but in the prior trailing, I don't know, 12 months or 24 months. Or something. Do we have any properties that were sold by the town? Is it a database or anything like that? In addition to what we already have, obviously. I
The
can see-
highway department
I can
has
see
it.
what we-
Highway department has it, because Kelly has to report to the state.
So it's available on the state website.
Yeah, she had called me the other day to ask me what was going on.
I was talking kind of separate from this. Other, yeah, any other town property. Thank you. Didn't talk about that.
So now you gotta go back the other way.
So, Mr. Lanky, your,
I'll find it.
your feeling is that you want more time on this, so that's why you're
I
calling.
really do, for that reason. I mean, if Mr. Jezerski wants to, acquire those two pieces of property, because everything that's there, they're all paper roads. They're not a town road. So whoever decides wants to buy it, say 30 years from now, they're gonna have to worry about the road themselves. But we got this here section right here that's right on Little Pond. I think you had it here, Tara.
Yeah, so I'm pulling this
It's,
up.
it's there to put a boat ramp and everything, a town boat ramp. And then we got 4.2 acres just beyond that, and then all the other stuff is 1.3, 1.3, and, three or four of them. And then we got a couple that are landlocked, that are in the middle, if you looked at this. Those there, according to this, there's one or two, I think, on number 5, number 6, and everything. The value to the abutter would probably be about $2,000. If it was to go out, but let it go out for bid anyway, so that's where you kind of would start. And the rest, keep it just the way it is, because as of right now, according to the state of Connecticut, town of Thompson has the most land that's in conservation. And I'd rather keep it that way, especially in the Lake District.
Just for context for what I have up on screen, for the folks who might be viewing in the Zoom room, I do in fact have the right parcels. Does look right to you, Greg? These are the zero sand dam under that ownership that was shown on the parcel map. No?
No, Jezerski Lane, that's Jezerski Lane coming in, it's down on the end of, down,
There you go.
Right here?
no, back where you were before. That's Jezerski Lane coming in right down there on the bottom.
Just keep coming down
Right
this way.
along the water.
Okay, all right, so they're in here, okay. So just for context as to what all these markings on these parcels mean, the light pink here, that is a wetlands profile. All this hashtag cross-hatched, that is NDDB identified areas in town. NDDB is the Natural Diversity Database. That means there are credible reports of species of concern in that area. It's hard to see that on the photocopied ones because they're black and white. Yeah.
So one of the things that you would have to find out in your subcommittee is why the conservation and wetlands commission both said, go ahead and tell us. Lot. Considering the information that you just looked up.
Actually, I have a whole report on that one when the guy bought the property off of a bull is, that's all that right in the report. But for that whole 17 acres on it.
So I think perhaps instead of a subcommittee, what we may be looking for is a special meeting to act on this application. It is mission that will act. Right, so does that make, would that be amenable to you, John, that we have a special meeting that is just this one agenda item, so that we can focus on it and take the time with it?
Well,
Because then the planning and zoning commission can act at the end of that.
well, if that's what you want to do, fine, but to me, a subcommittee is that we can sit there and hack it out for the next hour and a half or 2 hours, come to a conclusion, and then send it to a regular meeting and act on it on a regular meeting as an item on the new business, say, okay, this is what the subcommittee came up with. This is what they feel is the best thing to do, and it's done, I mean, but if you want to do a special meeting, either or.
Just a suggestion, I'm happy.
Yeah.
It may be relevant to ask if there's any time sensitivity to it. That would be the only, otherwise it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But if there's time sensitivity, waiting for an additional month, the additional
Well,
regular
sure.
meeting might not make sense, but
It's
I don't know.
Opens it to the public if we don't have a special meeting. We just don't want any influence. That's what I'm saying. We need to discuss this and do it right.
they're all public meetings.
Yeah, but don't have to sit in. They can sit in, but they can't ask questions.
And either, it's not a public hearing.
You don't, if it's a special meeting, you don't have to put citizen comment on the agenda. So if the goal of taking it to subcommittee is because you just want to discuss it without entertaining public comment, you can do that in either format as well. The only thing you can't do in a subcommittee meeting that you could do in a special meeting is vote to take action on the item.
Ms. St. Ange? You
Yes.
still there, Amy?
Yep, I just stepped away for 2 seconds while I was listening.
No worries. Did you, I don't know if you heard the discussion. Is there any sort of time
Time?
constraint?
Not that I know of. The gentleman, Mr. Jezierski, had said it was just to increase his privacy and the enjoyment of his property. So no time constraints whatsoever.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further discussion on the motion to create a subcommittee on this topic? I guess I would just ask you, Mr. Lanky, is the subcommittee a committee of the whole? All 13 members, members and alternates are all members of the subcommittee?
They have to be. They have to be.
Subcommittee can be a small.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it would be nice to have every member involved. That's the whole thing.
So this would be a committee of the whole. Mr. Hill?
Well, by doing what is being done just with one gentleman to get, he wanted 4, but now it's down to 2. But there are a couple other parcels in this that somebody else might be interested in. Okay, so we need to say, okay, if one is landlocked in this, off one of these, like, off, I think it's Burnside or one of those streets, side roads, there are a couple that what they call, they're surrounded by people that own the property around it. We know that'll come up. So if we can get on top of it ahead of the game, You know, so it's ready to go. We don't have to go through it again.
I go. Person wants to buy 2 pieces of land, you make sure in the deed, not period.
Well, Mr. Hopkins did specify that it has to be in the deed. Because they're all like 0.8, 0.7. Each one of these, you know,
Well, I'm waiting for something else.
well, if we want to give it to him, fine, let's go to, okay, I'll pull back my motion. Okay,
Well, to Mr. Lanky's point, we had a similar thing come up a few years ago on Lillian, where if you looked at it in the aerial, it made perfect sense to approve the transfer of the property, or the sale of the property to the one abutter who was inquiring about it. But the other abutters did come in and say that they were not pleased with it because that was designated open space. Right, so it's not 100% analogous, but it is similar. So Mr. Linky's point that the other abutters in the neighborhood might object is worth considering.
Yeah, so I guess, I mean, my question is, what will we learn in a future meeting or a future subcommittee?
well, you devil's advocate, you have to look at that, somebody else who's gonna step in and say, okay, you did it over here, you can do it over here. So if we can get a handle on
So
it,
you're concerned about dominoes,
yes,
Mr. Williams.
Another thing we have to think about is, you know, different parts of town are different. Down there, there's so many paper roads down there.
correct.
You got these 2 lots here, there's 2 more lots that abut the other 35 or 40 that the town owns in the back of that. You know, that,
That are landlocked.
right, because of the paper road, because, you know, it's not a real road.
And so I guess that's my question, we know that now, right? Like that's a knowable fact.
Oh, yeah.
Right now in this meeting right here. That's not something we're gonna learn by having a subcommittee. And that's what I'm just trying to get. Is there information that we do not have now that we will have from a subcommittee or a later meeting? And that's what I want to get to.
Well, what I think should be done before we say, yes, we're gonna do this, I think the other people ought to be notified. This guy knows about it. All the other abutters down there, you know, they're gonna get snowballed. Oh, geez, you know, there's an auction coming up. They're gonna have a week to find out about it. They should all be notified now before, you know, why should this guy know that this is gonna be going on for months? And the other people only have a week or 2.
That might be a question for the first selectman. Amy, what is the process? I mean, obviously you've already stated it goes to auction, but
It's not auction per se, it's just sealed bid. It gets advertised in the papers. So we would do the local paper and the website to notice that it was up for bid. So then it's a sealed bid that gets sent to the selectmen. And it's awarded to the highest bidder.
And do you have any discretion to not award it to anyone if multiple bids are received? I mean, we have that discretion with RFPs. We can always not award if we're unsatisfied with the terms.
Right. I would have to investigate that. I mean, those 2 lots aren't that desirable to anybody in particular but Mr. Jezierski. So I don't suspect in that case that there would be more than one bidder. But that's just
There's
my
another way to
thoughts.
think about it too, if we address what the chair had brought up, and I think it's a really good point. What the chair brought up was, you know, is there new information? So from my perspective, and I may not be as up to speed as some folks here, and I'll acknowledge that. But I was thinking that we should look at the some of the historical transactions as well as maybe lots that might come up in the future, just to create more awareness on the commission, thinking about, like Mr. Lanky also said, we may set a precedence for something that other people may want to do the same. So I think if we maybe have a little bit more time to think about it and have more facts in front of it. I, for one, don't have the history in front of me, and I would like to see prior ones, not just this, but other transactions that were sold by the town and other lots that may be able to be sold. So just doing a bit of to me would be new information.
Amy, do you know if the town owns this land because they were taken through tax foreclosure?
I think it was through the foreclosure. Yes,
So they were privately held lands previously, that
correct,
just reverted to the town.
correct. That's my understanding.
Remember one thing, this area is under the Lake District, so that comes. Anything that's 4,500 square feet or whatever could be sold, so a developer could come in and try to scoop up, like I said, you got 1.3 acres, 1.3, and all that stuff, so we're adding more houses or whatever. So I personally, whatever that's not usable to us, but some of this is still good conservation land. There's a path to it, you got the paper roads to get in there, for emergency vehicles or whatever needs to be down the road. Let's keep what we got, we're gonna do that, we might as well just open up the town and let the Wild West come in.
And so, yeah, okay, so John, I'm gonna be a little bit blunt. It sounds like you have made up your mind about it.
I'm just looking at the conservation side, 'cause
And I'm not saying what
Right.
you've made your mind, I'm not saying one way or another, like, and that's my question. I don't think there's anything, and this is fine, that we're going to learn in future meetings that will change your vote. And I'm happy to, it might, like, I don't know, you can vote whichever way you want now, but I don't think another meeting is gonna change your vote, right? And maybe I'm wrong, Mr. Williams.
that's what you talk about.
Yeah, something I wanted to bring up with the Conservation Committee, and I didn't really want to bring it up here tonight. Mr. Babula, all of them town lots are Mr. Babula's property. Mr. Babula was a prominent selectman in this town. He was a bus driver for years. He retired. Anytime the town needed a bus driver or a substitute bus driver, they would call him and he would go in there and he would do it. I'd like to see all of them lots that the town owns in there before the conservation easement, Eddie Babula conservation. But that should be brought up, I shouldn't be brought it up tonight, but this all came this far, so I'm gonna blurt it out that's my plan. I plan on going to the next conservation meeting and see if we can get through that. Eddie was a very prominent man. His property abutted all that property. And I don't care what that map show, I've been going through that property since I was a kid. And it's all hilly, pine groves, there's vernal pools in there's all kinds of animals, microscopic animals that you don't even see there. And so what happens on all that property it's terrible, but.
Any further discussion on the motion to form a subcommittee membership, committee of the whole, the planning and zoning commission, alternate members? Any further discussion on that motion?
Second.
This motion was made by the vice chair, seconded by the secretary. Any further discussion? Hearing none, a yes will create the subcommittee, a no will the conversation on this application. Mr. Lanky.
Maybe, yes.
Ryan Canor, yes.
Ray Williams, yes.
Yes.
Joseph Kirby Brown, yes.
Okay, so you've created a subcommittee. Now you're going to want to schedule a subcommittee meeting. So, and is the intent to schedule this meeting prior to the next regular meeting?
Yes.
second, and I will tell you when I'm available to host a Zoom meeting.
Meeting, and I'll tell you.
You know what, I probably have a lot of dates in April, so we may just have to doodle poll that. Yeah, I was just opening it up going, I know I have a lot of open dates. So I will doodle poll the membership tomorrow.
Okay, so Tara will send that email tomorrow. Please try to get that in as quick as you can.
The Joseph Barodi Brown doodle poll.
And I guess what I would suggest, and I'm thinking out loud here to try to have stuff ready for you guys that would be helpful. Amy, you said the Conservation and Wetlands Commissions have already discussed this in meetings, so they would have minutes available?
Yes.
Okay. So that would be part of your background information, essentially your discussion guides. Okay, all right.
And save all the papers we got on this.
Save all the papers.
Item 13B, 0 Riverside Drive, Hemlock Properties.
Do you have an extra paper on it? I don't have my paper. Okay. Did everybody get, I know you've gotten this late, so did everybody get a chance to take a look at this? I write up on it. As you're looking and thinking, I will tell you, this goes back about a year ago when it was brought to my attention, there was some activity going up there. About a year ago, John and I did take a ride up there, managed to get in, the gate wasn't open, it wasn't locked. And we saw that there was some activity up there at the time, et cetera, never got back to it. But when I was interim wetlands agent, I went up there for Hemlock Properties because they were doing forestry up there. So I had an opportunity to walk the forestry part for inland wetlands. But then I also went up to where boulders were being taken out, et cetera. To present, about a month ago, I got a call from someone who said there was a lot of noise going on up behind your house, Riverside Drive in this area. So, once again, I believe, John, you and I went up together.
Yeah.
So John and I went up and the forestry people were working there. And forestry people were working there. And that noise was coming from forestry. I believe that Ed LeBlanc called me. He is the stone cutter that is taking stone out of that property for Hemlock Property. So I guess the question is are we going to define that as a gravel operation? Are we going to have Alex was supposed to bring me how much he's pulled out of there. He was supposed to bring me those figures today, and he didn't. So, you know, what do I tell Alex and the homeowners? Do not continue until we get some figures as to what you're pulling out of there. It's mostly stone he's pulling out. The intent of him clearing that section that you see on the map, because most of it's all forest and what he owns about 37 acres. The intent of it is to create a survival camp for Boy Scouts. He's very active in the Boy Scouts in Oxford. Now this is what Alex told me. I'm not talking to the owner because their phone number that we had on the forestry application in wetlands is disconnected. So we did not talk to him. And Alex did not bring me in any figures today. I'd say. I didn't get another call taken. I have two copies of this. I don't know why it's up here. So I just lost my train of thought, sorry. Oh, I did get another call today. The homeowner called me, and again, she called me about the noise, and I said, the forestry. There's, not a lot I can do about that. You have to call, wetland. So there's two things going on there. There's a forestry permit and there's stone being taken out of the property without any permits.
They're not processing the
They're
stone,
not.
they're taking the stone out.
Um,
What they're taking out, the blasting company come in about a year ago, and they did a good hit, okay? And they're taking out pieces that are anywhere from 10 feet long, 2 feet thick, 6, whatever, and then hauling it out and they're cutting it to make, certain type of pieces for whatever, like, Thompson Stone was doing. But the thing is that when he went in there little over a year ago, it was right after Cynthia and I went in, and I was looking at it, and I said to her, this is one hell of a good blast. And there was some big chunks, and they were taking them out in a 30-yard container. They call it 30-yard container, which is long. And he's taking them down to his place, either in Plainfield or off of Wilsonville Road, somewhere in there. And they're cutting the stone to make it for people. But you never got a permit. But that's not a gravel operation. Is when you're taking something like what's going on down here on Ridden Road, that they're blasting and then they're processing. That would be under gravel operation. This guy, all he's doing is blasting and hauling it out. But you still need a permit to take it to blast.
Well, he's got a permit.
Excavation, then he's excavating it out. And he's taking out big chunks to another place, so it's going from A to B. So but it's called mining, it's more or less under mining, you're actually mining the ledge, okay?
Coming to get a permit before you started.
No, but what had happened, I had left a business card with one of the forestry people, my card. And, the forestry gave it to the owners, and the owners gave it to Alex, calmly. And I've dealt with Alex before on another issue, so he knew me, and I knew who he was, so, so that's why Alex called, because he's the one, he owns the stone face clearing business. And, he's the one that called. Okay. That's what John and I had figured too, but we wanted to make sure that,
But he's not,
but
it's small, you know what I mean,
has he reached that 1,500 cubic yards?
Then he should
he's
apply for,
over that.
then he should apply for removal.
That big, it's still.
It's a process.
Then I sent the letter that I sent out, if that's what your decision is, the letter I sent out goes to Alex, because he's the one that called me, and goes to the homeowner certified mail return receipt.
Do you see where you're taking?
Well, he has a business you said Plainfield, but
There's
Yeah.
out on Route 6,
yeah, he has another business.
but he has
He also has a property on Wilsonville
Wilsonville
Road.
Road.
I'm not sure. Well, he lives there.
But yeah, he's taking it from that property.
Going from A to B.
He's excavating it from there, he needs a permit for that.
I will have to tell you, I think if he was taking it to Wilsonville Road, I would get a call, because a few years ago I got a call about that property on
I just-
Wilsonville Road.
One, shouldn't he get penalized for not doing a permit in the first place? That's how I'm taking this. Two, if you're bringing the product to B over here, you should be, you shouldn't be moving anything one without a permit, and
Our regulations say under 1,500 cubic yards.
We've got,
You got, he hasn't shown it to me yet. That he's
But if
going,
he's selling, is he selling?
I'm sure he is.
Right, but he still should, I mean, I don't know, personally, if you're selling something, you should be, there should be more. I don't know.
But it's still, the regulations still say under 1,500 cubic yards, you can clear land. But it's when you reach the 1,500 cubic yard threshold, you have to come to us. And that's what, when John and I went up there the second time, that's what we felt that he was doing, and
It's not all staying in one spot. He's ripping it once it's blown or blasted or whatever. He's pulling it with the excavators. He's got 3 machines up there, and to do that, I mean, and then he's got to load it into the containers and haul it out. And he's doing it, the bigger the chunks, even though you put 3 or 4 in, he's getting more material out. So you go take a 30-yard container, 6 feet high or 4 feet high, put 2 or 3 of those pieces in, take it from there.
So he's going to apply for a permit.
they didn't appear like it was gonna be a problem. I mean, obviously, it's gonna take a while, but they need a site plan, engineered site plan.
Or, I think it's great that he's wanting to turn it into have it look, he have a survival camp experience. I think we need.
He's only clearing, what you see on that picture, he's only clearing that open spot there. Not clearing like where they would. Select the trees.
But.
The overweight. The overweight.
Google.
Should be a mine.
Yes, that's good. I think that I think that was one of the issues with
I
John.
need
and I
emails.
First time that we were grappling with, it's like, well, where does it say mining? But, because we gotta, again, when somebody calls and complains, then you really have to act, and that's. It.
You. Item 13C, discussion of gravel operation permit for 365.
That, I don't know where it is.
Just look on with Joe.
Thank you, John. I need all this room here. Okay, again, it's basically the same.
Just for you.
It's basically the same issue, but it's not stone, it's a lot of gravel. So I discovered it when I drove by there, I was like, what are they doing? And stopped. And, so what the owner wants done to there is put a driveway into the back there because he has future plans for it. The issues with the owner is a separate issue with me on other parts of that property. We won't get into that tonight, but He did not have a DOT permit with Acre, he didn't have the Acre correct, so I called Jay Fellows, and Jay Fellows took care of it. Told him to stay out of there until he has his DOT permit, which he got. He went back in there, he did some more work. Basically, what he has now to complete is take about 200 more yards out, and he will be over his 1,500 cubic yards. And he would like to do that so that they can reclaim it and the driveway is a little bit smoother to move up into. And he is coming into, again, he is another one that told me he was bringing his numbers in to me as to what he's pulled out. I didn't see them. After I told him to go ahead and clear that area that he wanted to clear, but no more. He has no problem not going back in there and doing the process of getting a gravel operation to continue on into the property. And I will be in touch with him this week.
But really,
It's a site preparation, but he is taking soil off. He is taking product off the site and bringing it, selling it, leaving some of it there for reclamation. But he is taking the product off.
what are they gonna do with the site when they get done, right? But earlier, I thought,
It's not Provost that's doing it, it's the owner of that property. He has visions of what he would like to do with that property. Yeah, he gave me a clue.
Sell cars.
There's other issues with the owner of that property. Cars that are in the front there, there's cars parked in the back there. He's been told to get them out, and again, they have to get serious about, getting those cars out of there. Well, he did get serious, and he assessed it off and has all the armies of the cars. So let's just take care of some of it. But, the rest is the office to take care of those enforcement. It's a huge area in the back.
I mean, just from as you drive by, I mean, it doesn't look like just a driveway. I mean,
Right, yeah, well, he wants to clear it, because of future vision. But he needs to take care of his current problem before we do a future vision. So, and
I would assume he'll have to come to us.
yes, he definitely has to. And it's interesting, he's an interesting character, he and his wife. I guess he travels all over the country. And when I do call him, he does answer his phone, which is, something to say, because a lot of people don't answer their phone when I call them, because they know what I'm calling for. But he does answer his phone. I'll do it, Cindy, I'll do it. Yeah, when?
so we have we might expect to travel.
Yes, but
Accommodation for this.
Nick is not in a hurry for this. He said, when we finish what we're doing for him, if it takes 3-4 months, he says, I'm good with it. So it's not something that might come to us next month. So a lot of times you need to be updated on, especially when the issue is so visible, because people are talking to you, and so you really need to know, whereas Hemlock is not that visible, people can just hear the noise and phone playing, but that one you've got a lot on.
Thank you, Cindy.
Okay.
Item 13B, on clear land use training, April 11th. Cindy is.
I did, Tara sent it to everybody, but I printed it just in case, for those who want a hard copy.
So if you're interested,
Well, I guess if anybody is interested who's here tonight, you would want the motion and vote to authorize the payment. I think that was the purpose of putting it on the agenda.
is anyone? Oh, in
That
the line.
was in person too, like April 11th, was that 11?
That one, I believe, is in person.
Yes, it's April 11th.
It has.
Oh, that's just down the road.
It's a,
Yeah, I already sent it. Gotta pay for it, so
Motion to authorize payment for April 11th event.
motion made by the secretary, seconded by Mr. Blackmer, to authorize payment for commissioners who are interested in attending. the Yukon Clear Training on April 11th.
That's not a charge. Pay for something.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is a charge?
It's a $30 charge.
Oh, okay.
It's not a huge charge, but it's a charge.
Any discussion on the motion? Those in favor say aye. Opposed?
So I guess if anybody wants to go, they need to let me know so that I can put it on my department card and then submit it for reimbursement. And that's 2 weeks from this Friday.
Yeah.
Right, so don't dilly-dally or shilly-shally, let me know.
Item 14, review of ZBA minutes. Any questions, comments? Quandaries on the minutes of the zoning board?
You gotta give them credit. They, said no to for the, yeah, it was a unanimous, so that means our regs, they stood behind our regs. It's accepted. Put in a motion.
Here, we want to do something.
They did. They did. I remember when we came, a little score in there, touchdown.
Item 15, citizens' comments. Ms. Clark.
Valerie Clark, 105 Elm Road. I will express, as I did in the chat, this has been an extremely frustrating meeting because no one stepped up to the microphone with the exception of about 2 people. And they were requested to speak loudly, speak clearly, not talk over each other, and use the microphone, and they did not. I feel bad for whoever's trying to record the minutes for this. If they're going by the recording, good luck. And you guys need the owl. I know nobody wants to pay for it, but it's the only way you're gonna solve this. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Clark.
Thanks, Valerie. We're gonna get it. Keep pushing for it.
I see no other citizens' comments. Item 16, commissioners' comments.
Mr. Chair, I have
Mr.
something
Leahy.
to bring to our attention. This is something I had Ms. Dunn do for me because I needed to get some questions answered. And I have the questions here that I asked her to send to Rich Roberts. And I'll read both questions, and it's time stamped February 24th, 2025 at 1:17 p.m. First question is, can they continue the public hearing, call for a P&Z subcommittee meeting to review the public comments and suggestion changes before the next meeting on March 24th? Second question that was asked, can the commission add or take away any suggestions in the amendments? Okay, so I have the answer here, and it was, he responded at 9:58 p.m. that night after the meeting was done. And the answer to the first question was yes. And the answer to the second question is within limits. It is better to delete than to add, which you kind of handled a little bit there. You don't want to go too far beyond the scope of what was initially proposed and disclosed in the legal note. So even if we would have had this answers to that before the meeting that night, we could have taken and had a subcommittee, asked for a subcommittee to discuss everything that was brought in by the lawyer and the pub. Because we spent a good hour going through everything. We could have done it in one night and then sent it to the following meeting and voted on it, and we could have done it. I'm just saying, I asked that question. He agreed. Something for future.
Other commissioner comments?
I got a question. Thursday night, what time is that at the Aquifer?
We don't have the time, but we're leaving here about 4:15. Mike Vogel is going to be just coming right off work. He's gonna meet us at the town hall at 4:15. So because of that time, that means we'll get there on time. I'm not sure what.
It might depend on which way you go.
You're coming with us?
Yeah, I'm going.
You driving?
I'm leaving you behind.
Ms. Orlovat.
One thing is, I don't know if Cindy got my email, but I had done this, the Connecticut bar this past Saturday, Zoom. And did you get, I had paid for it. And I paid for it on my credit.
Oh, okay.
I had sent you an email, if possible, if I can give you one. Sure.
Great, I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I think technically we only approved the ZBA members.
Motion to approve Kai's expense. for-
I had sent it to you with a zero.
Second, the.
So do you want me to send it?
No, no, no,
No,
This one's
just making the motion just to approve.
Okay,
Just to
so,
get-
the motion's made and seconded to, approve the reimbursement, of Commissioner Orlovat for the Connecticut Bar Association training. Any discussion on the motion to approve reimbursement? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Guys, you got the book, right?
Oh, one more thing, Mr.
So
Chair.
if you sent that to me, Kais, I will send that up to, for payment tomorrow. Okay.
Motion.
And actually, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, but actually, I believe there was some, I had to contact Shirley, Saturday morning, or Thursday or Saturday morning. That's a woman who organized it for 750 people. There was a message in the email, and I didn't read it real clear, that they wanted you to print some pages and take pages out. I will find that email and I will get it to you and to the other 4 members.
And everybody from ZBA's payment is all taken care of already,
Okay.
right? Yeah, so it's just Kai's that I need to.
Yeah, 600, because I talked to her Saturday morning. There was 600, but it was 750 registrations she processed.
They, people think. Oh my gosh, I was like, can we just get along here?
So one question that Shirley did ask me, she asked me to ask the board. Is it easier for the members that are attending these sessions, of course, it's not for another 2 years, to get it, the booklet through the, online? Because it's a fortune to do those booklets, send them out.
Yeah, I feel like I'm on.
Okay, that's good.
So some of the questions. And this one, I was really interested hearing more about. Some woman says, I'd like to hear more about the proposal to eliminate open space requirement from subdivision regulations. And then somebody else said, the bill can be found here, but I tried clicking on it, I tried copying it, I couldn't. So I can send that to you and Tira if you want.
What
All right, so now this makes sense, because somebody asked me something about that as if we were proposing that. I was like, what are you talking about? We just approved more.
It says-
So now that makes more sense to me.
It's still something that we.
Right.
Haven't done.
No, there's no, it doesn't have a bill number.
HB 07034.
Yeah.
HB 07.
73.
34.
Family housing.
Banning what?
Also,
Multiple housing development. They're trying to make it so that the towns can't ban it.
Oh, can't ban it, okay.
07034.
Do we lobbyists that helps with,
We don't pay for a lobbyist.
you know? So we just bring attention.
Fazio goes and does a lot of public hearing.
Mr. Lyons.
Any of these bills, you don't like a bill, you.
Oh, yeah.
You send it in.
We testify, yeah.
Right.
We do quite a bit for agriculture. We have, for our bureau, we have a lobbyist.
Okay.
Well, they don't just testify, but they'll tell us if they need to be there. Brian can help me on that. But so, yeah, I thought it was really good. It was long, but it was good.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
So if anybody wants to borrow a book, I'm happy. Give it.
I'll look through the book and see what pages my 3 books don't have. I have 3 of them.
Yeah, I was like, what is this coming in, man? Oh my gosh.
230, because they want to outlaw, leafblowers,
Yes.
leafblowers.
Any further commissioners' comments? Mr. Lanky?
Yes, I want to comment about, the group that went down Saturday.
Yeah.
It was a very good CLCC. There were the 3 items that I liked, and there was a couple of us, one was the dam issue about dams, refurbishing dams and stuff. One was that I took, I think Ryan, you were with me too, had to do with, farm, and the other, and the first one, I think, in the morning was conservation. So that's why I'm a little on the conservation too. But the last one, at the end of the day, I could have slept through it, really. But the dam, the first 3, I walked out of there, that's why I'm a little bit more go-getter, you know.
We know these things.
That's right, but
Well, the Zoom works for you.
all I know is the turkey sandwich, I had 2 of them. No, I didn't. I saw the turkey sandwich, I dove for that.
Maybe
Did that.
And for the benefit, oh, sorry.
it's not me.
For the benefit of the group too, to add on to what JBL said about the conference, it was the Connecticut Farmland. That was the presentation
Yeah.
I had attended. All my notes are in here with a dead battery, so I will type them up and send them around. I apologize in advance for my shortcoming with my Kindle.
They were great. Those first 3 were great.
Thank you all 3 of you, including that, sharing that learning to everyone who went.
And I had mentioned to Ray and JBL in passing, I am expecting, maybe not like immediately soon, but in the next month or so, to get notice on the one that the Connecticut chapter of the, I always forget what AICP actually stands for. It's essentially, it's the National Planning Certifying Group. JBL and Ray went last year to the Mark Twain House. They do it every year. It's essentially yeah, and you went too. Yeah, it's topics that come up over the years. Some of them are legislative, some of them are, trends in land use planning. They always do an excellent job, so I will distribute that as well. That one does have a fee because they feed you and all that
And
stuff.
Jerry,
But
you
it's,
sent one out today.
I sent one out today. That's just a webinar, but it did look, yeah, it did look interesting. I registered for it.
I listened
Did you?
to
Yeah.
YouTube. They had a
What is your
Yeah,
perception of Mark?
The one in the Mark Twain House, yeah, it's excellent.
Very good.
It's one of 2 or 3 that when it comes up every year, I make a point to go.
Well, they not only do it in Hartford, but they do Springfield.
Well, that's the Massachusetts chapter.
Yes, but pretty much, I remember them saying how they go to Mass and all that.
Thank you, everyone. Item 17, our next meeting is April 28th, 2025 at 7 p.m. We will be back home. And item 18, our motion. Yeah.
You have to make it.
To adjourn.
Second. Second.
See what happens?
Yeah.
Have a nice evening, everyone.